As Wanganui fights the release of Stewart Murray Wilson, local MP Chester Borrows has come under fire for the way he's dealt with the issue, with some saying central government should have taken a much stronger lead. Well, Chester Borrows is with us now in Wellington. Good morning, Chester. Thanks for joining us.
Morning.
You effectively supported the Corrections Department in placing Wilson in Wanganui, didn't you?
Well, no, what I have been saying is that we have to live within the law as it's written, and as it's written, corrections are making those decisions. So I can understand that people in Wanganui and our communities don't want Wilson living in our community, but those people who are offering some other solutions aren't taking cognizance of where the law is now. I mean, we would really relish the opportunity to get this sort of attention to celebrate our wins instead of only getting attention when we have losses.
But the problem is that your constituents, your electorate, is worried, they're angry. Now we hear that Wilson, the two minders part of the conditions has been overturned. Are your electorate right to be so angry?
Well, I think they're responding like any electorate would, who doesn't want to have one of its nation's most despicable criminals living in their backyard a few kilometres from their city. And unfortunately, the law is the law as it's written, and we can change it in the future, but we have to deal with it as it is today, and the community of Whanganui reluctantly will get its head around that.
I guess one of the problems is the communities look to you as their MP to try and represent their views, their anger, their disappointment and their concern in central government's eyes. I've heard reports from within the community that they've lost faith in you as their MP. What do you think about that?
Well, I would expect that people respond in angry ways when what they would really like to happen doesn't happen. But the point is that the decision's been made around the law as it's written now. I feel very much for the community of Wanganui because it repeatedly has huge gains which never get reported. When it has its losses, the cameras turn up and kick the hell out of it.
But this is the community bringing this attention, well, having this attention put upon itself because, of course, they're angry and concerned over what's going to happen in the next day or two. Are you going to be in Wanganui today or tomorrow?
I've been in Wanganui for the last few days. I'm in Parliament for the next 3. But the point is that every time that Wanganui stands up for itself against the same sort of issues that other communities have, it incurs media contempt for its ability to do that. And you can look back at the past events that we've had, the stance it took on gang patch legislation, those sorts of things, the tragedies we've had in our community, and that's exactly that. And people are strangely absent when we have our wins.
But Wanganui itself is saying that this isn't the sort of issue which other communities have to deal with, that they're very worried and concerned about Stewart Murray Wilson coming and living amongst the community. And now we find out, potentially without the two minders when he goes into that community. Well,
I'm not going to comment on what the parole board might come to because that's a judicial decision. And the fact is that as the court instructed yesterday, that's to be negotiated, and we're yet to see what that will be like. What we do know is that other communities do have to deal with these matters. They have in the past, and they'll continue into the future as long as the law is as it's written now. Unfortunately for Wanganui, you know, our community's been chosen this time. None of us are appreciative of that. None of us want it.
I guess you are in a bit of a rock and a hard place, much like the Department of Corrections in this, because the law has imposed this upon the community to an extent. But your electorate does feel as though you've sided more with maybe the minister and also with the Department of Corrections rather than backing their fight.
Well, I think my stance has been that this situation has been forced upon Wanganui because that is the way the law is written, and that is the way the Independent Corrections Department has taken it there. Now, if people wanted me to get up on a soapbox and bang away for a fight that can't be won, I can't see the point in that. The fact is that Stewart Wilson should be very happy that he's been sentenced in this country and not any other overseas jurisdiction, and he should stop bitching and whinging about that and recognise how fortunate he is. The fact is that civilised communities are measured on the way they treat their most despicable and their most hated. And we live in a civilised country, and he's very lucky to be sentenced there. But Wanganui people you know, have had this forced upon them, and how they respond to that is critical.
OK, thank you very much indeed for your time this morning. Much appreciated. That is Wanganui MP Chester Borrows.